All right, so now that you have an idea of what you'll be doing, what I want to do next is just outline what you want to have in your journal today. So you are going to use the rest of class time today to do some thinking about what your plankton is going to look like and what materials you're going to use. Like I said, there are a variety of materials on the back counter of the classroom, and you are definitely not limited to those materials. In fact, the best plankton usually utilize some sort of creative material that I didn't already think of. So feel free to use anything that you see there, but then also think about maybe if there's anything from home that you want to bring in tomorrow. If you think that you're going to use a glue gun or something, you might want to bring that in from home. I have one you'll notice in the back counter, but if there are a bunch of people that need it, that could lead to a little bit of wait time as you're doing your building tomorrow. So think about sort of what supplies you might need tomorrow in class, and for homework, you want to bring that in for tomorrow. So make sure you write that down if you need to bring in some additional supplies. But what should go in your journal, you should start a page that should say the Floating Plankton Challenge with today's date, and I think it's probably the 14th when you're watching this. So you can write that down. And then also, if you look at the project sheet, you'll see what needs to go into your journal. So you should answer the pre-lab question. The pre-lab question is, what kind of plankton will you be modeling? What are some adaptations this type of plankton has for staying near the surface? So what you want to think about when you get with your partner, you want to think about what kind of plankton. Do you want to model after a phytoplankton or a zooplankton? And then one of the ways that you can do well on the rubric for this project is to incorporate some of the adaptations those real plankton have into your model. Okay, sort of applying what you've learned so far. So answer that pre-lab question in your journal, and then you're also going to form a hypothesis. This hypothesis is around why you think the materials that you're going to use, why do you think that's going to help your plankton float. Okay. Hopefully your hypothesis reads something to the effect of that our model plankton is going to remain neutrally buoyant because I've used these super cool materials and I designed it in this particular way, so it should remain neutrally buoyant. So you and your group will come up with your hypothesis, and then you want to start brainstorming your design ideas. So think about the materials you want to use. Start doing some sketches in your journal. It's really fun to have some preliminary sketches to begin with, and then you'll be able to compare your final plankton to those first sketches and ideas that you had and see how much your model has changed over your work time on it. So by the end of class today, those are the 3 things that you want to have in your journal: the pre-lab question, your hypothesis, and then some evidence of your brainstorming. So that should all be done by the end of class today. Then for homework, like I said, you want to bring in any materials that you're going to use for class tomorrow. And then tomorrow in class, you have the whole time to do your building. Your model is due at the end of class tomorrow. So as you do your building, one suggestion that I have is take some of the 5-gallon buckets from the classroom, fill them up with water so that you can do some testing on your model, so you can start to get a sense of whether or not your ideas are going to work. And then you'll have to probably do some revisions to your model as you go along and figure out what works best. So there is potential for class on Friday to get really messy. Please help me out and help the sub out by cleaning up after yourselves. Especially if you're using buckets and doing some testing, please make sure that I don't come home to a mess on Monday when we're trying to do the Plankton Challenge. So make sure that as a class you do a nice job cleaning up. I would really appreciate that. And then, like I said, the final Plankton Challenge will be on Monday when I'm back. We will fill up one of the fish tanks with water, and then we will time how long it takes for your plankton to either float to the surface or sink to the bottom, and we'll calculate the rate of sinking that your model has. We'll also find the mass of it, so we can do some calculations there. After our Plankton Challenge on Monday, you are going to have to draw up a final blueprint for your model. You can work on that in class on Friday. If you finish building early, you can go ahead and start working on your final blueprint that's described on your project sheet. And then after class on Monday, there'll be a couple of conclusion questions that you'll have to answer and turn in on Tuesday. All right, so I think that's about it. I hope that you guys have fun with this and that you come up with some creative ideas. I am going to caution you, it sounds kind of like a simple assignment to build a plankton, but it's actually really challenging. So be ready to put on some thinking caps and try to figure out how to solve this problem of creating the best adapted plankton. And I hope you're having fun this week, and I look forward to seeing you on Monday. So yeah, again, if you have any questions, I'm sure I'll be on email, so send me an email. I might not get back to you right the same second, but probably within the day. So let me know if you have any questions, and I will see you on Monday.